Okay, Felix, so Portugal is up next. It's another race next weekend, but before we go into that, last weekend at Silverstone, things didn't really transpire the way you'd hoped for them to, did they?
No, I mean, after testing, we sure weren't really happy with everything, but we still believe that we would be able to fight in the front. But yeah, when we came to Silverstone, we soon realized that was not the case, and we even had struggles to fight within the top 10 after free practice and qualifying. So yeah, it's in these situations it's very hard for every team to know how to act, if you should panic and change everything, or if you should work in your normal system and try to find what's the problem, which we did from the beginning. But then obviously we saw that nothing was really improving on the car, and we still had problems in race 2, and then in race 3 we changed some more radical things on the car, and I think we found some actual lap time in the last race there. So in the end it was quite positive, but yeah, I mean, not the first weekend we were looking for, so yeah, quite disappointing.
Well, the final race on Sunday yesterday was very good, you have to say, considering where you started. Went from 14th, finished 7th, did a couple of good overtaking moves, but how much better was the feeling inside the car compared to Saturday? You mentioned you did some radical changes. How big an improvement was it, would you say?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say, because in that race we were using old tires, which should be worse, and we were also having a bit of problems with the brake balance when something broke in the brake system. So I was actually having a lot of brake bias to the rear, which should normally even make our problem worse than we had before. So considering that, the car still felt a bit better, and I was able to gain 7 positions in the race. So I would say that we actually found something there, and but it's still very hard to say exactly what happened, and we sure need to analyze everything more detailed until Hockenheim. So, but I'm sure we're on the right way, but still a big step to find, I guess.
So Hockenheim obviously is your circuit. You've been very good there in the past. Won races every year since 2011. You won your first Formula 3 Euro Series race there. Last year again won several races there. So obviously you will go there hoping for better pace than Silverstone. But realistically, where do you expect yourself to be at Hockenheim? Do you think you will have solved everything and be able to run at the front already in 2 weeks' time, or do you still expect some struggles?
Well, I mean, yeah, as you say, Hockenheim is a circuit that always seemed very good for our car and also for my driving style, and I'm sure expecting us to be maybe in the top 5 there, because I think the problems that we are having at the moment they are even worse at Silverstone. I think it's more or less the worst track you could go to with these kind of problems that we are having on the car. So yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, but yeah, if we're not top 5 there, I would be quite surprised. So it should be better there, because even 2012 when we came to Hockenheim, we had some big issues, and then I could still run in the top 3 there. So I mean, I'm expecting us to do the same thing here. So yeah, hopefully we'll find a big step there.
Yeah, and Formula 3 is obviously your main program again this year, but this weekend, as I mentioned in the beginning, we're going to Portugal now, to Portimao, which is a place you've never been before, and it's the first round of the season for the Acceleration FA1 series. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and the kind of car you're going to drive now?
Yeah, it's correct. They're going to Algarve now, and yeah, the car is more or less quite old car, but it's with like an upgrade aerodynamic package and really nice engine, a Cytec engine with 550 horsepower. So it's in general a much more powerful car than the Formula 3, but normally a bit slower in the corner. So I would say in lap time wise maybe 4 or 5 seconds quicker per lap. So it's still a quicker car. and much more heavy and very different driving style. So it's going to be really interesting. Also practicing pit stops and a little bit of different race craft that you need in these kind of races, where you probably need to look after the tires a bit more, and also it's going to be interesting to be racing for Team Sweden and not for a normal team as you normally do. It's going to be a bit different kind of race week, and I'm not really sure what to expect yet, but also I haven't really got into it so much yet because I've been focusing on the Formula 3 for the last weeks, but we're going to spend all this week to get into it and see what we can do with the car, and make sure to make everything from the testing on tomorrow and Wednesday. So it's going to be interesting.
I mean, it's basically the old A1 GP cars, isn't it? And it's the same kind of structure as well with the nation-based championship. But you mentioned pit stops, which is quite interesting. You've never done pit stops in any series. I do remember though, I think in 2010, you did an enforced pit stop at Assen when it started to rain or something, but that took ages, I would say, in comparison to what you're expecting this weekend, because now it's real pit stops.
Yeah, I mean, now it has to be quick, and sometimes in Formula 3 you do pit stops because it's starting to rain or something like that, and then it's all unexpected, and the teams are all panicking and using all the mechanics to try to do it as quick as possible. But here it's on purpose to do pit stops, and everyone will make sure that it takes as little time as possible, and that's going to be a very interesting moment in the race when you come in there in the pit lane and just stop as quickly as you can, and everyone is trying to change the tires, and then you just do like a burnout away from the pit box. So I mean, it's also quite risky part of the race where you can lose a lot of time, and also from the safety side, you don't want to hit the mechanic or something just because you're trying to rush to gain like half a second. So I think it's very you have to be very, how do you say,
take caution.
Take caution of that, but still it's very important to gain all the time you can get. So not sure how that's gonna go, but we're gonna do some practice in these days on that, so I'm sure we can cope with it.
And Portimao is a circuit as I said, you've never been there, but you basically don't even know the way the corners are going at the moment. So it's going to be important for you to have maybe these 2 days of testing coming up? Yeah,
for sure. I'm gonna practice the track a little bit tonight and watch a couple of clips. And also did once like a simulator session on that track, but it was quite a long time ago. So I mean the testing for sure is not bad, but it's the same for everyone. And then I think not so many drivers have been there. But I heard it's a nice track, which has a lot of evaluation changes and like a quite interesting track layout. So
it seems like it's gonna be quite a competitive field already, actually, with some good names coming in. You're going to be rejoining forces again with your own teammate there, Nigel Melker from the Netherlands. You used to race with him at Mykke in 2011. Anything you want to say to him before the first race here?
I'm coming for you. No, but sure, he's a good driver, and he's also a good friend of mine, and he has a little bit better experience with these kind of cars. Did one season in GP2 and one in World Series, so sure he's going to be the biggest threat, I think. But you never know. I mean, there's a couple of other guys which I think will be quite quick. I don't really know exactly who will drive yet, but sure going to find out tomorrow. So no, I think the man to beat will be Nigel probably.
Well, good luck then.
Thank you.